Last night there was a miracle in Mexico. South Africa got out of their group. I never thought it'd happen. I predicted them finishing rock fucking bottom, but they somehow managed to beat South Korea. South Korea, a team who I thought would top their group, and have gone to the knockout stages of a World Cup for the first time in their history. When watching, I wasn't watching this match. I was watching the Mexico Czechia match because I was trying to see if the Czech could do it and get out of their group somehow. So I saw that South Africa had gone up 1-0. I was like, oh, South Korea will obviously realize, oh, we gotta actually start playing now if we want to stay in this competition and go on and win it. Not realizing until after full time that South Africa had held on, and I looked at the stats after, and I saw that South Africa was actually playing better on paper in the stat department. They had more shots. Yeah, they had a lot less possession, but it seemed like they did a lot more with that possession. 13 shots, 4 on target, compared to South Korea's 8 and 3 on target. Similar amount of touches in the opposition box, similar amount of big chances missed, yada yada. Similar amount of corners. So it seems like they were very even in the stat department. Just that South Africa way more clinical with their possession. So hats off to South Africa. I don't know what their back line was on, but it seemed that they stepped up huge. So going to the table now, they're in second. Uh, their draw against Czechia will prove that they have what it takes. They can find that grit. I think if they had not drawn against Czechia, they would not be in the position they are. And the fact that they recovered so well after that loss to Mexico on the opening day of this World Cup, it shows character. I'm not. I thought after watching that, getting that red card, just playing really poorly, really dysfunctional, that they wouldn't have the guile to fix all the problems, but they did. And it now leaves South Korea in a position where they don't know if they're going to go through. They have good goal difference, but on 3 points, it's up for grabs because Senegal, if they can win somewhat comfortably against Iraq, a team they could definitely rack up the goal difference, they could probably leapfrog any of these teams who have already played three. So I like I said in the last video, Senegal they had a torrid time, but if they somehow manage to get a group, it's a miracle. So we could see another miracle with Senegal. All they have to do is just beat Iraq, and they could potentially get out of their group of death. Ecuador, they play Germany, tough game for them, so they probably won't. They might not get out unless if a miracle happens there. DR Congo could get out of their group by beating Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan have not been great in this World Cup, so they could get out. Belgium had to go to New Zealand, so that most likely will be a win for Belgium. So they most likely will knock down one of these pegs here. Speaking of pegs, Scotland. I thought they let themselves down so bad in that last game. Let me pull it up here. I watched this game yesterday, and I know I'm kind of going way off on tangent on South Africa, but I'm going to go back to them in a second. But Brazil showed their class. Just quick aside for them. Scotland really just let themselves down, giving away 2 easy goals for Vinicius to score. He could have had another one as well if he didn't accidentally foul that defender. But the backline, especially McKenna, I thought he should have been hooked after the disallowed Vinicius goal with like 20 minutes, like within 20 minutes. He should have been hooked immediately right after that water break. I'm sorry, but it's harsh, but you should have gotten him out of there immediately with the way he was playing. Tierney, I think did pretty well for when he came on for the injured Robertson, but the fact that McKenna was able to stay on the entire time is out. It's insane. I think the coach for Scotland really let his team down and not set them up properly. But for Brazil, really well. Going through top after Morocco drew or just narrowly beat Haiti. So yeah, if Morocco had not had Haiti score 2 goals on them, I think Morocco would have been top, like I predicted. But Brazil moving on to the next round, comfortable after finding the next gear after that first round. But now back to South Africa. I uh, they're obviously not going to go far because they play Canada next. Who, yeah, they just lost narrowly to Switzerland. But in that second half, like actually, like this from like the 60th or so minute onward, they played really well, and they if the ball had fallen a different way, they could have probably beaten Switzerland on a different day. So that will be a tough game. If South Africa can play like they did against South Korea, they could beat Canada. And I think that would be a good result for Canada. I feel like this is a team. South Africa Canada is a result around a 32 fixture that both teams probably want. Not a tough team for both of them, that is, but it's a team that they could have the potential to beat and move on. So I think they're both looking forward to that. In South Korea, like I was talking about, they probably won't. Uh, I think it's a very disappointing result for them. I think their team needed to step up. Huang he Huang should have from Wolves should have stepped up more. Kang and Lee, I don't know why he just didn't do much. I don't know if they just weren't giving him the ball. Like he didn't have a shot on target. Um, I don't think he had even had that many touches yet. Well, he had 88 touches, but it seemed like he just wasn't doing much with it. I don't know. I just can't. Obviously, I didn't watch the match live, so I don't know exactly uh, why South Korea couldn't break down South Africa. But with their attack, um, you have another European international. Did they bring? Yeah, they brought Sun Heung-min off the bench. He should have provided more. I think just from what I'm looking at right now, it looks like it was just a bad night for South Korea at the worst possible moment. And I don't think South Korea can really blame anyone but themselves. Because looking at this group, Mexico obviously is home. They're favorites to get out of the group at least. But to top it against a good South Korean team, based off of South Korea's qualifying, I think they should have South Korea should have been out of this group comfortably. So I'll just South Africa, great job. I think I'm rooting for you now. You're an underdog. I always like rooting for underdogs, uh, who are in neutral games. I think it's more fun that way. World Cup spirit as is it is too. Always good to root for the underdogs in World Cup. But whew, it's heating up. The surprises, the twists, the turns, the fairy tale stories. This World Cup's got it all so far. I'm loving it.